What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Success Spectrum podcast. I'm your host, Kadeem McLean, and today I just want to ask you a question. What if imposter syndrome is not a sign that you're aiming too high, but that you've been living too low? See, there's a false comfort in playing small. We shrink ourselves to fit into spaces that feel safe. But in doing so, that is at the expense of growth. And because it's at the expense of growth, really, it's just self-sabotage. Staying in our comfort zone is just self-sabotage. They say the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't, is what they say. Because you're familiar with this one, you know it. However, stepping into the unknown, though it might be better and probably is, we will often stay with where we are because we're familiar with it, because we know it. We don't necessarily know what's on the other side, so we stay where we are. And ultimately, that just leads to no growth. That is self-sabotage. Your comfort zone will betray you because it is at the expense of the life that you're capable of living. I couldn't tell you how many times in my life and how many times in some of my clients' lives where they were stuck on where they were. They were stuck on making $70,000 a year, $80,000 a year at a decent job. It's pretty comfortable. It's kind of boring because it's such easy work and there's not really a trajectory for growth and progress, but I'm here, I'm comfortable. And they almost stayed there. And you might be in a similar situation where you're contemplating leaving where you currently are. Maybe it's not a position, maybe it's not a job, maybe it's taking that next step to get married, maybe it's taking that next step to start a business, maybe a step to leave where you currently live to go to a different place, whatever it might be, to maybe step into a new friend circle, a new circle of influence, whatever it might be for you. Take it into your context. But the person I'm referring to, some of the people I'm referring to, they ended up leaving where they were and taking that growth step. And now they've tripled their money, right? They've doubled and tripled their money in some cases. And they've also doubled, well, maybe not doubled, it's hard to put a number on that, but they have more freedom in terms of their time, their energy, and of course, now their effort. They don't have to put as much effort into the role. They are learning and growing. There is a growth trajectory now. They're making more money, but they also have more time for their family. So if they stuck with the devil that they knew, they would have sabotaged this future or this present time that they now have, this opportunity. They would have stayed stuck making $70,000 to $80,000. They would have stayed stuck having to go to the office every single day. They would have stayed stuck, not necessarily seeing a path for growth, but they took the step. And now they have doubled and in some cases tripled their income, and they have more time, and they don't have to put as much effort, let's say, into the role. And they're in such a great place now because they took that step and did not let their comfort overcome their growth and where they want to be. They did have a level of self-doubt. However, we need to look at this because there's something called self-doubt, of course, which is I'm not sure if I can. As a subscriber to this podcast or a listener to this podcast, I want to give you $30. How am I going to do that? Enter Rakuten. Rakuten is a platform where you can find deals of the week. And on here, it doesn't matter if you're looking for clothes, doesn't matter if you're looking for electronics, services, food, you can get cash back. $30 cash back, rather 30%, 20%, 4%. You can get Dyson Yeti. I know a lot of us need to file our taxes. Those of us who are late, you can use Intuit TurboTax to file your taxes. Ancestry. There are deals upon deals on here. And here's how it's going to work. I refer you. You click the link in the description. You spend $30 on this platform. Guess what? We both get $30 back. Sounds like a win-win deal, doesn't it? Go ahead and click that link in the description and get yourself your $30. But then we have self-betrayal. And self-betrayal is, I know I can, but I'm not going to. I know I can, but I'm not going to. I'm choosing not to. And there might be some things you're choosing not to do because you know you can do it, but you don't want to hear the opinions of others. You're afraid of the opinions of others. You know you can do it, but you don't necessarily want to hear the feedback from your peers, from your family, your circle of influence. You know you're capable of doing it. That's self-betrayal. And these things, how can I put it? They kind of erode inside of you. They instill and plant negative seeds. They do not help us to grow. They help us to stay in something called, again, imposter syndrome. Those things kind of fester. They don't go anywhere. They stay there. However, you need to elevate and grow. And in order to elevate and grow, you got to open the door to this thing and let it out. You've got to step into it and move with it. Don't worry so much about this. What will they say? How will it work, or whatever the case is? Again, you know you can do it. Self-doubt, yes, we can work on that. However, even in self-doubt, move forward. There's a lot of cases in my life where I did doubt myself. However, I moved forward. And because I still moved forward, even with that self-doubt, eventually that self-doubt eroded itself, and I got the opportunity, I made the progress, I got the growth, and I got to a way better position in life. Those same people I was talking about, taking those steps from the 70,000 to doubling and tripling their income, they did doubt. They did have a level of self-doubt. However, the people around them, the circle of influence, and their own thought process, as well as me coaching them through it, they took the step, and now they're in a way better position. So self-doubt, it can be overcome, and I recommend taking the step anyway, because worst case scenario is what? You have to go back and find a different job. Worst case scenario, you come back to the same job you're at. It'll work out. But best case scenario, let's focus on that, is you double or triple your income. Best case scenario is you have more time. Best case scenario is the level of effort you have to put into the job is lowered. But that only becomes a reality when you take the chance, when you take the step, because you don't know what it looks like on that side until you take the step. If you stay where you are, you'll never know. You know what this has to offer, but we don't know the potential of that next step. So in order to know, you got to take the step. So when it comes to self-doubt and self-betrayal, again, self-doubt is, I don't know if I can. Self-sabotage or self-betrayal is, I know I can, but I'm choosing not to. My question to you is, which one have you been living in? Listen, if you've been a struggling entrepreneur, you feel like you're putting in so much effort constantly, daily, so much time, effort, and energy, but you feel like you're stretched thin. You feel like you're overworked, overwhelmed, and underpaid. I have a campaign running right now, and it is called the Apex system. This is something that is going to help to change your life as an entrepreneur, because we're going through the system, and I'm going to teach you all about it. A stands for automation. P stands for prioritize. E for elevate. And X for excel. Each of these things, this 4-step system is going to help you to change your life. And instead of being overworked, overwhelmed, and underpaid, you're going to live a life that you really want to live. The reason you started this business, that lifestyle you've been aiming for, we're going to help you to accomplish that by now doing the tasks that you love to do, be overpaid, and have the time to spend with your family, your loved ones, or to have that freedom that you've been seeking. Freedom of time, freedom of location, and of course, freedom of finances. But that only works if you go ahead and you register. apexaffiliation.com/system. Go there, register, so that you can understand how this 4-step system really will help you to elevate. apexaffiliation.com/system. I'll see you there. One final point I want to make here, and I've kind of alluded to it already. I mentioned it, but the calling that you keep ignoring, it is not going anywhere. The vision, the gifts, the dreams, the desires, the voice that you keep hearing that's telling you, hey, we have these things we got to do. We've got people to help. We've got businesses and empires to build. We've got charities to build. We've got schools to get into and speak and help and adjust the system. We've got things to accomplish. We're on a mission. What are we doing still working behind this desk for company ABC? What are we doing still working from home and just doing these little things on the side? What are we doing not going after the life that I'm calling you to? That's the imposter syndrome. It's not that I have these ambitious goals and I'm not the person to accomplish those. It's we're playing so small. We are living low, but really we are called to this higher thing. The imposter syndrome isn't to keep you down. It is to pull you up. But if you don't accept it, if you don't open the door to it, like I was saying earlier, if you don't accept it, move with it, and walk with it, then you're going to continue to feel it, because that imposter syndrome is not going anywhere. Those voices, the thoughts, the desires, they are not going anywhere. They are implanted in you, deep rooted. So until you accept it and move with it and do what needs to be done to make these things a reality, you're going to keep feeling it. You're going to continue to have these thoughts. You're going to continue to be stressed out. You're going to continue to be overwhelmed. And again, feel like you're out of position. Until you get in position, you're going to hear these voices. The longer you try to silence these voices, the louder they are going to get. Because again, deep down, you know you're built for more. You know you are being called for more. There is more to life than what you are currently doing. You are only where you are right now because of the decisions you have been making up until this point and the decisions you're making today. However, once you flip the script, the decisions you're making today can help you to move towards this better, higher version of yourself and move towards accomplishing and achieving and obtaining the lifestyle and everything you have in your mind, all those desires, those visions, those beliefs, that lifestyle, right? The people you are called to help, the businesses you're called to build, the schools you're called to build, whatever it is that you have in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit. That is why you feel the imposter syndrome. You're being called to that, but currently you're not operating as the person to achieve those things. It is not the opposite. People like to put a bad negative spin on imposter syndrome. My personal belief is you feel like an imposter because you're operating way lower than you are supposed to. Not the other way around. You feel like an imposter. You feel the imposter syndrome because you are operating on this low level when you are called to operate up here, a different wavelength. So again, I want to repeat to you, you don't feel like an imposter because you are aiming too high and you're reaching too high. You feel like an imposter because you've been living too low. All right, I hope this episode was helpful for you. And if you feel that self-doubt, or even if you feel, let's say, that self-betrayal, go ahead and click that link in the description and see how you and I could work together to help you get to that next level and unlock your level of belief, to help you get to that next level that you're aiming to get to. Because with self-doubt, without believing in yourself or having people around you who believe in you, it's not going to happen. So if you want to get on the other side of that and really go after your goals and dreams, go ahead and click that link in the description and let's have a conversation. All right. I know this was helpful for you. Hopefully you got something from it. Share it out with somebody who you know can benefit from it. Kadeem here, and I'll see you on the next one.